Let's get into the news now. And in our first story, in the heart of the lithium mining saga in the central region is Ewoyaa, a community of charcoal producers brimming with anticipation and dreams of a brighter future. Another affected community, Krofu, is however proceeding with caution, citing insufficient engagement with the company to understand fully the scope of the work ahead. Head of JoyNews' energy desk, Samuel Kojo has been to the community and came through with this report.
What we've heard
is that work will soon begin, but we haven't seen it yet. And that is what we're waiting for. We're waiting for the mining to begin.
Auntie Mensime, a resident of Ewoyaa, expressing optimism in the prospect of the lithium mining in this area. Her optimism is being actualized by Atlantic Lithium with the announcement of an employment opportunity. The chief of Ewoyaa, Nana Mbrono Edu IX, says aside the announcement, the company has already employed some of the citizens.
We're training nkofu ba emiensa asisi a wosan wo adwuma no mu a wo ye adwuma ana nka ye adwuma bia charcoal business no ye twebia ye wo.
They have trained about 3 people who are currently working. There used to be no jobs here apart from the charcoal business. Previously, when you come to this town, you will see no one around. But now, because of Atlantic Lithium, most of the youth are now employed. We are content with what Atlantic Lithium is doing here.
He describes Atlantic Lithium as a good social partner to his community.
I was here when they brought the plan. The road contract has been awarded. All the engineers that came, I met them in Accra and brought them here. They have opened up about a lot of things they plan to do to help the communities.
I meet Charles Adofo, a native of Ewoyaa and employed as a technician at Atlantic Lithium.
People's lives have been changed. I am currently employed. I now have enough money to support my mother and my family. It has been very beneficial to me. The majority of the men who were unemployed and took advantage of the opportunity now have jobs. You can be a casual worker and earn around 120 cedis if you are not a contractor.
120 cedis, 110 cedis a day.
He explains that though the company is only undertaking exploration activities, many people from the catchment areas are already benefiting from the work of Atlantic Lithium.
For now, almost 10 to 15. Okay.
The company has employed 10 to 15 individuals and is not limited to one town. The permanent staff in this town consists of 5 to 6 persons, including my senior brother and I.
5 or 6. Okay. For permanent.
For people who are mainly charcoal producers and petty traders, Charles says the conditions with the employment at Atlantic Lithium are life-changing.
I hope they start working soon because there are no jobs in the central region. They have not disappointed us since they arrived because when Atlantic Lithium arrived, they hired and trained indigenous workers. They've done an excellent job.
Auntie Mensime says they expect Atlantic Lithium to serve as a catalyst for positive change in their lives once the mining operations starts.
Oh, we know that when jobs come to a community, it brings economic life. It makes it possible for you to succeed in everything you do.
So this is Ewoyaa community, a community of around 350 inhabitants. This is one of the many communities in which the lithium has been discovered in commercial quantity. This is where Barari DV Limited will be having their mining setup.
In our next story, the Progressive People's Party has opened nominations for members seeking to be parliamentary candidates. National Secretary Remy Parko Edmondson says the party is currently conducting elections for polling station and constituency executives, after which it will conduct elections for the regional and national executives. Rafiq Salam has the rest of the story.
The Progressive People's Party, PPP, for the past months has been engaged in the reorganization of the party, aimed at energizing its base to be battle-ready for the 2024 general elections. This day started with the launch of the regional and constituency officers for the party in fulfillment of the requirement of the Electoral Commission of Ghana ahead of the 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections. Speaking in an exclusive interview to JoyNews after a meeting with regional and constituency executives and supporters of the party, National Secretary of the PPP, Remy Parko Edmondson, stated that the party is fully prepared for the December 2024 general elections. He disclosed that starting from Monday, the party will open nominations for party members who wish to file to contest for the party's parliamentary primaries.
We are prepared very well. We started last year actually to reorganize our grassroots. We had our 10th anniversary on 1st October 2022. We held it in the Elmina, which is our birthplace. And also we chose Elmina because it was the KE constituency was the constituency that performed the best in 2022. And ever since then, we've been actively nationwide growing our membership. We have the EVA app that we have developed, which makes it very easy for every Ghanaian to register. We've started a process to elect our polling station and then constituency executives. That's currently ongoing, and as soon as we are done, we'll do our regional and then national. And as I mentioned earlier, starting this Monday, 18 December, we are formally opening nominations for the parliamentary people who are interested in contesting as parliamentary candidates on the ticket of the Progressive People Party. And then once that is done, we will then elect our flag bearer, and then we'll just move in full stream to prepare for the 2024 elections.
The PPP National Secretary spoke of the increasing cases of corruption, which he said the ruling New Patriotic Party government has little interest to fighting.
It is more, it seems to me like the government says one thing and then looks the other way. And we've identified some key aspects of the constitution which are making it possible for corruption to go unchecked. One of them, as we mentioned earlier, was the asset declaration clause of the constitution, which requires that all public officials appointed into office must declare their assets to the Auditor General. Quite interestingly, all they have to do is just make the list all right. But as to what they actually put in, nobody knows, because even the Auditor General cannot open it. It is sealed in an envelope that the Auditor General himself cannot even open and check. That Honorable Kwesi came in with 10 cars, 2 houses, and maybe 5 plots of land. And then at the end of his tenure, maybe he's going away with twice that. He doesn't know. So it's actually, it makes a mockery of the whole exercise. And the PPP is saying that we must amend the constitution and make sure that that provision is made public. The whole world should know as a public official what you came in with and what you left with. There's also the aspect of the president having the power to appoint about 2/3 of his ministers from parliament. We feel this is very wrong, and it defeats the purpose of parliament checking the executive.
Reporting for JoyNews, Rafiq Salam. Wah.
In our next story, the intensive labor and drudgery that characterize the production of plantain are a deterrent to the youth and the aged. Meanwhile, various aspects of the production could be achieved with mechanized tools to lessen the reliance on labor. The Crop Research Institute of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research is partnering farmers to mechanize the production of plantain. Here's why.
The project, dubbed Mechanization and Work in Agroecological Transitions, seeks to industrialize the production of plantain. The coordinator for the project, Dr. Natsen Aram Amengo, explained that the project is equally aimed to address the issue of labor unavailability and the use of chemicals.
We believe that there is a lot of labor issues now. The youth are not willing to go into agriculture. Those who are already inside are also aging. So it's becoming very difficult now to get people to actually do a lot of the farm works. So we are looking at activities that could be done with more or less like mechanized tools that will reduce the reliance on the excessive reliance on labor, and also in one vein also prevent the issues that come with labor unavailability. We also are looking at reducing the use of agrochemicals. So if we could get mechanization tools that could be used at least to weed, then it means the farmers will use less chemical, because at the moment it is believed that they are using even more weed than they are expected to use on their farm. So basically the idea is, one, to reduce the pressure on labor, to make it easier and more attractive for the youth to go into agriculture, and also to reduce the use of.
Dr. Jonas Edu, who addressed the farmers on behalf of the director of Crops Research Institute, explained that the workshop sought to introduce innovative and sustainable solutions on how to modify existing machines to ease farmers' struggles. He further encouraged the farmers to state their challenges and needs to help the agenda of the mechanization project.
This project is very dear to our hearts as a research institute in terms of how we can actually bring mechanization in plantain production to make sure that life becomes easy. Can you imagine planting with machines and also harvesting with machines? If you have about 1 hectare of plantain, how many people will you need to be able to harvest? So please, the issue of mechanization is very important. But we cannot do that when we don't know what you need as stakeholders. And that is why this workshop is very important, so that you can tell us what you expect from this project, and then based on that, our engineers can also support in terms of identifying the right machines and then the modifications that will be required.
An agricultural engineer on the project, Dr. Shadrach Amponsa, emphasized the importance of co-creation in bringing out the most suitable tool. For JoyNews, Nana Bochi Dankweyadom, Kumasi.
In our next story, the Bono East Regional Directorate of the National Road Safety Authority is on a quest to promote discipline on the roads and prevent accidents as preparations towards the Christmas festivities deepen. Regional Manager of the NRSA, Emmanuel Echampon-Perry, at the launch of a campaign in Techiman, said the move would reduce the region's road accident rate and its resultant fatalities and injuries. Correspondent Anas Sabit has more.
The campaign, which seeks to sensitize drivers, road users and the general public on the need to prioritize road safety ahead of the Unitide, forms part of efforts to help reduce fatalities on the road. Bono East Regional Manager of the National Road Safety Authority, Emmanuel Echampon-Perry, who was speaking on the sidelines of this year's road safety campaign, said the move is to help prevent road accidents across the area.
We have met here to launch the 2023 road safety campaign in the Bono East region. So we brought everybody on board, stakeholders, the driver unions, everybody to launch the road safety campaign for this year. And we also added some advice. We have advised the drivers on what they are supposed to do in order to prevent unnecessary crashes on our road, especially this Christmas and beyond. And if we are able to do that, then definitely we will be able to save lives on our road.
Even though the number of road crashes in the region has reduced compared to the same period last year, the region has recorded more fatalities this year. This, according to Mr. Echampon-Perry, is as a result of overspeeding on the part of drivers.
In terms of the number of cases in the region, it has reduced, but unfortunately, the deaths recorded this year has surpassed the previous years, which means though the crashes are not happening much, but the fatality is high. That's why we are saying it's because of, or it's due to speeding. Because the more you speed, the higher or the greater the impact when there's a crash. So we are advising that they should do their speed so that we can witness some reduction in their deaths.
Drivers were also urged to take the safety of passengers and pedestrians seriously and were urged to insure their vehicles to help address issues relating to road crashes. Abbas Yakubu is the regional head for priority insurance in charge of the Bono East and Ahafo regions.
We are passionate about ensuring our customers' safety. So for them to make sure they are doing the right thing on our roads, the education being given by the road safety authorities, our MTTD bosses and all that, we still have to ensure that they have good policies to cover them in an event of any form of accident. Because we at Priority believe that the customer is the first, and we prioritize them in our business. So they should take the policies so that in an event of any accident, any form of accident, depending on the policy that you took, we'll be in to make sure that you are back in your former state. Yeah.
Some of the drivers lauded this sensitization exercise and are hopeful that the move will help minimize road accidents across the region. Ambrose Akrugu is the chairman of the Techiman Drivers Association.
We really appreciate this program. It has helped a lot of drivers a lot. We really appreciate it. You see, when it comes to the end of the year like this, drivers used to have a lot of problems. So I think such education like this will help the drivers to move forward, and the accident will reduce a little bit.
Colleagues, is that we should take time. We shouldn't rush. From January up to date, whatever God was going to give us, has given us, we should take our time. We shouldn't rush, because as a driver, when you go and come back home, that's why your family will be happy.
The 2023 Road Safety Campaign was held at the Techiman Main Lorry Station under the theme, Stop Speeding, Stay Alive. Anna Sabit, JoyNews, Techiman.
Now, 78 students of the Brooks Dream Foundation have been trained in cosmetology, fashion, and garment making to equip them with skills for the job. Certificates these graduates have acquired are European standard certificates, which open them up for jobs across the world. Martina Buguri now reports.
Brooks Dreams Foundation, which started as a corporate social responsibility to support girls who had dropped out of school either because they could not fund their education or due to pregnancy, with time introduced other areas including vocational training to support these girls. Speaking on the sidelines of the graduation, the executive director of the Brooks Dreams Foundation, Maimuna Kalim, said the dream is to see these girls fit globally into any institution.
And then over time, we set up the foundation so that we could be more structured. Then eventually, after years of doing the event management business, I decided to pull out. I had done it all. So I focused entirely on the foundation. And we do a lot of programs. It's not only the skills training that we do outreach programs, back to school projects, health outreach training, ICT training for young people. But as we were growing, we wanted to do something more structured. So when we heard we know vocational training, we need to keep growing. So then we signed on to the Ghana TVEC project, and we started, so we added on to with the cosmetology and the garment and fashion training. So we are growing, and then we always like to see people and give them a chance. That is why when we give the award, best attendance is very important. Somebody who is dedicated, they have the will to work, we give them a chance. And then when they come here, we try to inculcate all the other aspects, as in mentoring them, building their self-confidence, advising, so that eventually when they leave here, you go and then somebody would say that if you were a product of Brooks, they know you've received a certain level of training. So work in progress. We still have big dreams, that's the dream, Brooks Dreams Fund. We have very big dreams. So we are still ongoing, we are still, step by step.
She said they are hoping to be able to attract giant factories to the north because of the human resource they are creating.
with this that we're doing, we've created a social enterprise angle, because we want a situation where we are going to be completely self-sufficient. So like those that we are training for the garment, the ultimate is eventually to lobby for a big factory to come here, because the certificate that they get is European standard based, it's standardized with the European Union.
The guest speaker, principal of the Tamale College of Education, Dr. Suleiman Idrisu, said the challenges the graduates have encountered should only help grow them in their career paths.
Next appreciation to the trainers who have tirelessly dedicated their time, their expertise and passion to mold these graduates into the skilled professionals they have become today. Your commitment to excellence has not only transformed the lives of these young individuals, but also contributed to the broader goal of narrowing the socio-economic divide in our nation. A special acknowledgement is due Mpamimura. I think that's my grandmother's name, so I would want to acknowledge yourself. The visionary and dedicated executive director of Brooks Dreams Foundation Skills Training Center.
And that's how we cap off the news, but do stay with us. Up next, the news review. We're joined by former head of the GJA, former president, Afe Omoni. We'll be right back.